Fair use, fair use, fair use. Yo, welcome to the 411 Sports World Show with Hot Tub Tony and Mr. 411.
What's
Man,
happening,
how
everybody?
you? Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. And Hot Tub, man. Today's November 24th, man. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving. The year is 2024. And, man, we just recently had this big fight, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Did It did crazy numbers. It was on Netflix. And, man, a lot of people wanted to just see Mike Tyson knock out Jake Paul. Wanted to see Tyson in the ring one more time. And people did get that. Well, they got part of it. They got Tyson in the ring. And so we're going to talk about this fight. I know you had some things uh, itching, burning there that you wanted to get out about it. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about the fight, man. So, but before we do so, we'd like to thank everybody. Make sure that you press the notification bell. Well, first of all, make sure you subscribe to 411 Sports World Network on YouTube 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. Then once you subscribe, make sure you press that notification bell so you can get shows. Because just like tonight, this show is one of those where we just say, hey, we're gonna go ahead and pop out here and do something on this football Sunday. So you hit that notification bell, you'll get all of our shows. Then make sure you share because sharing is caring. It helps us with the algorithm and also just let more people in to 411 Sports World Network so you can hear people like myself and like Hot Tub because we bring the heat and we talk about stuff that you're not going to just get this everywhere. So, and you never know what you're going to get with Hot Tub. And I'm looking forward to it today. Also, go to Instagram. Make sure you hit for Mr. 411 or scan the QR code on Instagram. And the same thing on TikTok, Mr. 411, or scan the QR code. All right. And you can check my guy out right here, Hot Tub Tony. He's on Instagram. He's also on YouTube as well. And Hot Tub, how can you be found, brother?
You hit me Hot Tub Tony ATL on Instagram and on TikTok. I need to run up them TikTok numbers, man. I ain't did nothing with that channel, so I need to get that popping.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm with you. Let's run it up. Now I follow you on all your platforms, so we're gonna get there, man. We all gonna get there together. All right. So help us out. Follow Hot Tub Tony, the one and only Hot Tub Tony. I'm telling you, great stuff out there, man. All right. Tyson fight. Tyson and Jake Paul. Jake Paul uh was the winner, so he has a victory over Iron Mike Tyson. But it comes with a lot of other stuff, man. So let's just talk about it, man. What you want to dive into first with the Jake Paul and Tyson fight?
Man, so we watched that. It was a highly anticipated fight. I think that did some numbers that the boxing world hadn't seen in a while. It really did numbers. But as we know, Mike Tyson lost. And
Yeah,
me personally, as a Tyson fan, as a boxing fan, as a boxing purist, I am sick and tired of watching Jake Paul beat up on elderly black men. That bothers me because it, he walk around like these are legitimate wins, and we all know, hey man, this is a bad game. This is Mike Tyson walked away with 20 mil. I think Jake Paul
hmm
40.
yep.
Uh, Nice little payday for Mike. You know, he ride off into the sunset, gave his wife $10 million. So I mean, for him it's good. He had flashes in the first round of the old Mike Tyson. And he missed a lot of opportunities, I think purposely missed. Because I think they had, and it's speculated that they had it in the contract that was a no knockdown, no knockout clause, no knockdown clause. So, it was what it was. Jake Paul has turned the boxing world into the WWE. It's all spectacle and showmanship and no actual skill set involved. My issue, and I really don't have no issue with them getting their money. My issue with Jake Paul is that if you want to be considered a fighter, you're gonna have to fight actual boxers, actual current boxers. That's gonna require you to take a drug test. We all know the
Yeah.
rumors out there that Jake Paul he's juicing, and whether valid or not valid, there's a reason why a lot of states won't sanction his boxing matches.
Right.
But on top of that, I don't like to see our greats, our icons, having to resort to doing things like this. And we've saw this before. This is not the first time in history that we saw this. They did the same thing with Muhammad Ali later in his career.
Right.
You know, do those exhibition matches and take a dive, and so they pay our champions when they're older, when they're further along in life, when their CTE start to kick in and their careers are pretty much done. They bring them back out for basically some abuse. So white folks have done this forever since boxing's been the thing. But somebody made a point, and I wish I could remember. I can't remember who it was, but one guy made a point. He said, "Well, look, you got to take into account that was Mike Tyson's biggest payday of his career. Nobody was offering Mike Tyson $20 million to speak, to box, to do anything.
Hmm.
These guys that Jake Paul are fighting, they taking home big paydays, and that's one of the aspects I hadn't thought about. And it's been said that maybe Jake Paul and his team are positioning themselves to take over boxing promotion at least, because they do numbers every time he gets in the ring. He does phenomenal numbers. Can't take that
Yeah.
away. But it underscores something bigger in the black community that I think we don't really talk about as much, and we don't take into account. Is that we got to start making sure our greats are good. So when they hit their latter years in life, they don't have to do things that they normally wouldn't do for money. Even down to Jim Brown. I know that's a different arena with him coming out of football, but with him endorsing Trump, gave him money for that endorsement. Trump propped him up later in his life when he was, facing bankruptcy, losing home. Donald Trump gave him money. And I've seen this. Like I say, this is nothing new. You got these white benefactors that'll come in and they do give money. But that's a failure. That's our failure. That's their failure to manage their money, of course. We all know the pitfalls of professional sports and athletes when they get these huge paydays during their career going broke towards the end. That's nothing new, but I look at it from an aspect of what is our responsibility as the black community to our athletes. Some people say we don't owe them nothing. We took care of them during their playing days. Yeah, I see that point of view. But if we don't want to see our elderly athletes get beat up on, we got to do a better job at that. Now, as far as the fight goes, Mike Tyson wanted to knock that man out. I
He
saw
could have. He
he had
could
a
have.
number of opportunities, especially in that first round. He caught Jake wide open. You seen the clip going around the internet where Mike was about to jump at him and do that, leaping overhand right that he's infamous for. And Jake Paul was backing up. He was scared. But then, you saw Mike Tyson biting on the gloves. People kept asking, why is Mike Tyson keep biting at his gloves? Hey, man, that's pride fucking with you. Your pride messing with you. So you got to take. Mike Tyson goes into a different place when he in that ring. He said it numerous times. So to keep himself grounded, I think that's what you saw with the biting of the gloves. I think it's less of an oral fixation, as he said, but more on I got to keep reminding myself, hey man, secure the back.
Don't detonate on him.
Right.
Yeah. And it also could have been a communication tool too. I know in officiating a lot of times, when talking, um, I use my whistle. I keep it in my mouth if I want to talk to somebody, so you can't
Mm-hmm.
read my lips. Uh, Uh, you might see me covering my lips with like kind of like this, like just to kind of um not let you read what I'm doing. So he could have been saying something, mumbling something, uh, with while he's quote unquote biting his gloves because he had both gloves up too.
Yeah, he
So
did.
you really couldn't read lips or anything. So and again, we are speculating, being truthful, but because we wasn't there, or wasn't privy to whatever was going on behind the scenes. But there's also a rumored contract that's out there, like you mentioned earlier, um, about different things like a uppercut, no uppercut clause somewhere in there because there was plenty of opportunities for Tyson to use his patented uppercut,
And he did.
um, and he didn't do that either. Because Jake Paul is not. He's a boxer. Okay, I give him that. He is trained as a boxer for a couple years now. That means he's a good one. It just means that he has been training as a boxer. So he didn't look like somebody who has enough experience yet. The way he was kind of swinging and backing up at the same time, things like that. Like you're not really putting nothing on your shots when you do that.
Mm-mm.
I do a little training, boxing training myself, and even I know that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be backing up while I'm swinging forward. There's nothing there. There's nothing behind it. So he knew that he didn't want to. He wanted to make sure that was not in range to take any kind of real blow. But Tyson, even at his advanced age, and time in the ring, he could have did a lot of damage to Paul. I believe that. So you was talking about. So right now we're currently talking about the actual fight. Um, so how did you feel about the rules? Like because it wasn't 3 rounds because men's boxing is 3 rounds. I mean 3 minutes per round, and then instead of it being 12 rounds, it was 8 rounds. So basically 16 minutes of boxing. That's not even to my opinion, in my opinion, a legitimate number to make this a real fight, quote unquote, is more of an exhibition to me, more of a show.
And that's
At
what it was
least, at least,
classified.
at least use the real rules. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Tub.
I mean, that's what it was classified as, an exhibition match. First of all, shout out to them two women that was in the undercard.
Yeah,
Yo, that
and
was that was the fight right there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That was Taylor, Katie Taylor, and Serrano, right? That's their second fight. I think it's the second time under the promotion, MVP, most valuable promotions, or whatever it's called, that's kind of tied in with Jake Paul. And this is the second time that they've highlighted the women like this because they fought at Madison Square Garden the first time. And they say that first one was the fight, probably the fight of the year, the first time they fought. But yeah, it was a great fight, man. You want to kind of dive into that a little bit. But before we do, that's one of the things will give Jake Paul credit for is that because of the spectacle that he is, and that he brought in Tyson as well. Now there's more eyes to see this women's bout because that was the true main event in my opinion. But you can talk about the match.
Yeah, I mean, I think the wife, if I'm not mistaken, the wife out there was Taylor, right?
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah, had she not done all them, she was fighting dirty. She leading with
Yeah,
that.
the headbutt and stuff. Yeah,
Oh my God, split old girl open, man. And had she not done that, I think the Puerto Rican sister would not easily because they were fighting. She
yeah,
would have, but that was hats off to Jake Paul's promotion for including them because that was a good fight. That's a fight I would have paid to see.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
not so much, not so much the Tyson fight. I really did. I really didn't want to watch the fight, man. But
Yeah.
it's Tyson. But I knew, and I called my cousin beforehand, and she was hyped up for the fight. And I said, you know, they're not gonna let that white boy lose. They're not.
And Tyson's also 58 years old. He's been out the ring for a long time. It just didn't add up for
Oh
you to put. But
no!
and look at his knees. I mean, now look, I'm talking about look how he appeared in the ring now with the knee brace and how he was standing and stuff. He didn't look like he had a great foundation. Now that all could have been that, but that's how he looked out there.
Well, we forget that he did have some medical issues that his
Yeah,
life line earlier this year, and he might.
right.
But I keep hearing people say, "Well, Tyson ain't been in the ring." Yeah, he was in the ring 2 years ago with Roy Jones Jr. and he fought Roy Jones.
Yeah,
So
they actually started wailing on each other a little bit. Yeah.
and he got $10 million off of that fight. I think Tyson's at that point, and all of us hit that point at different times. But the older you get, you start looking at, hey man, I got this much more life. How can I secure the financial legacy for my children? I didn't do right by this money. I had this much money. I don't have it now. So I get it. And I don't fault Tyson for doing what he got to do to put food on the table. He's not broke by no stretch of the imagination. But when your time ticking down, you want to leave something for your family to make sure they straight going forward. I think that's what the move was with him moving that money to his wife. So
Hmm.
I get all of that.
Especially with
I,
that health scare that he had. That health scare that he had that he said almost took his life.
I just don't like seeing Jake Paul beat up on elderly black folks. I reflect back to what he did with Nate Robinson when he knocked him out.
Now, and that was a young one, but he wasn't a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a basketball player, and it's like it. Jake Paul has been setting himself up for the last couple of years here. The one time he did lose, right? He lost to Tyson Fury's brother,
Yeah.
right? And who's a real boxer, low level, real boxer. Both of them were low level, but Fury beat Paul. So we know where Paul really stands right now. He can fight MMA fighters who are not boxers. There's a
Mm-hmm.
difference in MMA fighting and boxing. So just because they can punch and do stuff in MMA, but it's different when you have to box when the object is to just hit people in certain spots and not get hit. You know what I'm saying? So he's still fighting with a stacked deck. He had a stacked deck in all his fights except the one against Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost that one. So yes, we know where he stands. But speaking of that, right, there have been a couple of older guys though who's been out the game that have thrown their name in the hat, and that is Andre Ward. He said he's been 7 years out the game, and he said, "Hey, fight me." And also Antonio Tarver, who
That's the one.
who wants to fight him. Antonio Tarver wants to fight him. Do you think Paul? First of all, would you like to see either one of them fight Paul? And then also, do you think Paul would accept either one of those challenges?
I He may accept Ward because I think Ward would be more apt to take the money and take the down. Antonio Tarver, no, hell no. We got to look at it. Jake Paul ain't no little dude now.
No, he's a big dude. He was 237 pounds, I believe, in that fight.
Right. Compare that to Antonio Tarver. I don't know what he weighs now, but I would guesstimate, about 170, 180. That's a big difference when you're talking about fighting. So for him to step up and say, "Yeah, I'm smaller, but I still fight you,"
Hey,
hey man, I think he got that killer in him, and I don't think he'll take a dive. So I don't think that Jake Paul would take that fight.
yeah, I would
And
love to see Tarver fight him. I think that would be
I,
the more,
I would pay good money to see that. If
yeah.
Net got to get they streaming together, because that was just horrible.
Hey man, there's a lot of pressure on Netflix right now. They're getting to the sports game. They got the NFL coming up around Christmas time, and then they also have WWE, which starts next month. They got and it's gonna be a big event and at the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play, that new
Mm-hmm.
dome with Ballmer, and that's where they're gonna have Monday Night Raw in January, and it's on Netflix, and it's gonna be on Netflix every week. So they gotta be ready because it's on now. So we'll see how that works. But hey, how do you like Netflix though? Do you like the fact that sports is moving over to Netflix?
I do. I do because everybody has Netflix. I literally don't know anybody that doesn't have a Netflix account or still in one. But so with everybody having access, Netflix trying to present themselves into the sports. Hey man, they kind of operate like the old cable service now, and which is good. We don't have to pay extra money to see the fights. which is all that's a win for all of us who got Netflix account. I just want them to get the streaming portion under control because all this buffering,
Right.
stoppages, that was just infuriating.
Yeah, it was. It really was, man.
But
I guess
it's
they
a
wasn't
lot.
ready for it, man. 80 million homes, man. That's what Netflix is in. And so all you had to do was go Netflix and pop. And I actually enjoyed that because not only did you were you able to at least watch it. Like I didn't that like I was, they had to deal with that buffering too. But I just decided to wait a little while and watch it a little bit after it ended. So
Mm,
they didn't have to deal with the buffering. But I also had the opportunity to just go back and look at it again. You know what I'm saying? It's sitting there. And so that's what I like about it too, because when you order the pay-per-views, once you watch it then and it's a wrap after that, like, hey man, give me a
you watch.
chance to watch that thing again and again. You know what I'm saying? I'm paid for it.
Hey man, that's good, especially in the field that we in now with the sports analysts. So you
Yeah.
can really dissect these fights, really dissect these sporting events. So I like that aspect. And Netflix, congratulations for doing that. Because I don't like the fact that I got to buy 30 different streaming services to see one or two shows or one or two events that I like. To have everything under one roof is a good thing. That's a big plus for Netflix. And also, it's an opportunity for, say, the HBCUs if they were to negotiate a contract to have HBCU games played on Netflix. Now, that's another show that we got in the works, but this is like a teaser to it. So it's a lot of benefits to having Netflix stepping into the sporting arena.
Absolutely.
So
And yeah, my bad. I froze up for a minute there, but yeah, I heard every word you said. And yes, HBCUs, man, they need to jump right in on this, man, and get a deal with Netflix. Get inside those 80 million homes. Have the games accessible to the audience, the football audience, so that those games, man, are not just hidden in the abyss, and
mm,
also being held back by ESPN, where they just show you on every now and then on ESPNU or they show you on tape delay on ESPNU. The game on at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and it's like, and the game was actually played at 3 in the afternoon. Like, it time's up for all that. It's time for us to band together there on that and get on that network, and that visibility will lead to bigger and better things. So
yeah.
yeah, man. But we're gonna dive into that, like you said, really a lot more to that later. But yeah, Netflix, man, with the sports. So we check mark that. Hey, let's go back to the women real quick too,
Mm,
because that was a great fight. Now, Clarissa Shields, um, women's champion. I think she's 147 pounds, but I think that's the division she's in, somewhere in there. Or it's a
mm,
welterweight, whatever welterweight is for women. But she's the champ, and she said that she believes Serrano. I mean, not Serrano. She believes Katie Taylor won the fight, not by a lot, but she just believes she won the fight. I do agree that it was a close fight, and
mm.
either way, somebody was gonna feel like they got job. Serrano, man, she survived that cut and was was well in the way. And like she said, she came up two weight classes
Damn. I didn't
again.
know that.
She came up two weight classes for this fight. So that show you how tough she is to go up two weight classes. You know how that works. How tough
Oh,
in the
yeah.
boxing scene. That's a lot. So it's already
Any,
hard enough to go up one.
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you. But
No,
anytime
no, go ahead, go
you
ahead.
go up in weight, you're going to lose something. You're going to lose speed. Some people lose power going up in weight. So that was a
Right,
risk for her. But, shout out to her for she was a gladiator in that ring.
man,
I
boy.
love I love that fight.
Yeah.
I would have watched that fight and not been able to see the Tyson fight. I think I'd have been okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. The Tyson fight was very underwhelming. The hype was great until the bell rang. Once the bell rung, that was it. The intro for Jake Paul was cool. Mike Tyson just walking to the ring like his typical fashion with no kind of glitz and glamour. Just got the cut up t-shirt on and walked straight ahead. Like it was typical. The intros were great, but once the bell rung, it was a wrap then at that point.
Oh yeah.
Um, but they did a great job because they got a lot of people. that was just sitting there believing, leading up to this, that Tyson was gonna knock him out. You know what I'm saying? But I was with you on that, man. I had Jake Paul winning this fight anyway. I
Hmm.
just felt like if nothing else, as long as it goes the distance, the decision to go his way. And so that's
Right.
that's where I was looking at it. Let's see what else we need to talk about on here. We
Now,
talk about the contract, talk about the fight. What else you want to discuss on this?
let me jump in here real quick because this is an unsung hero that nobody ever talks about when we talking about Jake Paul, and that is
Okay, say it one more time.
Shannon Briggs is Jake Paul's trainer. Been his trainer for a long time.
Really?
Shannon Briggs has made a secondary career training Jake Paul.
Wow.
Talk about this, but he made an average scrawny little white boy when he started into, I ain't gonna say a legitimate champion, but at least looking like a boxer.
Yeah, he does look like one. He does.
You know, he if I'm walking in the ring and see him and not know anything about his past, I would think that he might be a threat. Now
Yeah.
I'm I'm in my late 40s, so he might be a threat to me at this age and this condition. But to a real boxer, no. But Shannon Briggs has done wonders, bro. And
Hey, man.
he's made more money training him than he did throughout his whole boxing career.
And that's
So,
the era that we're in.
but that goes
That's,
back to what we said earlier. We can say what we want to about Jake Paul. I don't like him, but I respect the fact that it's a lot of legends that are around him that he gives opportunities to and he pays them.
yeah.
Whether we like it or not, he pays. So unless we gonna take him, say, nah, we can do a promotion better than that, and we'll get you somebody to fight better than that. Till somebody out of our community steps up and does that, I can't really blame him.
Right.
Showing that he's giving the middle finger to all the boxing promotions, all the different the different boxing promotions that
Yeah. All the different ones. The IBF, the
yeah,
WBC, WBO, all of them.
like that's a
Like they
finger because he's showing boxers, hey, they robbing y'all. I'm not even
yep.
I'm not even my own division, and I can get promotion and pay out a $20 million payday.
Yeah.
Whereas you like to say the IBF or somebody like that comes in and they only gonna want to offer on a big payday at most $10 million in most cases.
Yep.
The money's out there. The money so everybody behind the scenes is making the money, and the people that are actually putting their lives, their bodies on the line for the entertainment that we enjoy are getting the crumbs off the deal.
Right.
So he's exposed and he's pulling back the veil on this a lot. So I don't know whether to make Jake out to be the villain or the unsung hero or the anti-hero, I guess. Because this is real interesting what he's doing. I would
It,
have to sit
I,
down and really talk with him to see what
yeah.
angle he's coming from with this.
I think what he's doing though, Tub, is well, he found a niche, right? He found a way to get matches that intrigue the audience, to
Mm-hmm.
captivate the audience. So he's putting himself in positions where it's like, hey, we just want to see you get knocked out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we'll pay the money to see it happen to you. But it's like going to the fair, going to the local fair, and you think you can make that basket because it's right there. You can shoot that jumper and they go in, but the basketball is full of air. The rim is like it's not round, perfect
Like
round. It's more oval.
it's shaped.
Yeah. So you see it, and the illusion is right there, and then boom, he pulls the magic trick because he did it with Woodley,
Mm-hmm.
right? Woodley's a big, strong UFC guy. You would think, oh, okay, well he can strike him, and that'll get it done. But it's different when you box. You see what happened to him, got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he keeps fighting these different guys that the deck is constantly stacked, but on the surface it looks good. Mike Tyson looked good on the surface. You see him training and all that. They fool us with that. Man, he's boxing. He's hitting hard. He hit the trainer so hard with all the equipment. Man, imagine if he hits Paul. It's a wrap. And then we see what happens in the ring. So he's doing a good job with that. Um, but again, I'm gonna put this on boxing. Like if you put together the fights, which
Hmm.
over the last couple of years they've been putting together some fights, some good ones. But you already had been out of that so long that a lot of boxing fans kind of fell off the wayside,
Yeah,
and so now you're trying to pull them back. But Jake Paul is taking advantage of that because think about Tank Davis. I think he's fought maybe one or two times in the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
and
Tank Davis.
that's crazy. That
Yeah,
is because everybody wants to see him fight. It's a lot of
exactly.
the different promotions holding up a lot of the matches that we want to see. It's not so much
Right.
fighters; they want to fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm a IBF fighter and you're a give me another one
Like WBC or something. Yeah.
fighter, it's a lot of behind the scenes that got to go down and a lot of money that got to be split a lot of different ways for that fight to happen. Who's going
Mm-hmm.
to, well, my belts, whose belts are higher? I got belts over here, you got belts over there. One thing I see, and this goes back to one of the shows we did earlier this year, is with the Saudis coming in and doing fight
There you
promotion.
go.
They're kind of straightening a lot of that out. They say now, well, we'll put up the money.
Yep.
All belts equal, purse equal. And I'm
Let's
seeing
go.
they're gonna eventually it's gonna be one of these two promotions that's gonna come in and take over the game. It's either gonna be
Yep.
Jake, long shot for Jake Paul to do it, but the money is there. He got the money to do it. But I think more so the Saudis gonna come in and straighten out boxing.
Oh yeah,
And
there's no question. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be for the benefit of boxing in the initial run. Long term is to be determined how it's gonna play out long term. But yeah, I see
Yeah.
coming in with them putting everything on the one house. I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and that I'm with you on that. I think the Saudis are going to be the one that take this thing over because they, like you said, they put the money up. They also put their arenas. They build arenas. I think they built like for the Tyson Fury Usyk fight. I think they built an arena for that fight. Like they're doing whatever they got to do to get it done, and and they're gonna pay them handsomely.
Mm,
And like they had a 5v5 over there where one promotion had five boxes, the other one had five, and they matched them up against each other. And whichever group, whichever team won the most fights, they won the bragging rights there. Like they're doing different things like that, and that is what brings back the boxing fans. That will put boxing back at the top because ultimately boxing is the number. In my opinion, boxing is the number one sport when done right. When done right, there's nothing like boxing.
that's
There's
science.
nothing like it.
It's the sweet science. It's combat sports in its purest form.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Uh, some people will argue MMA because they can take it to the ground, but it takes a lot of different skills to fight MMA.
Hmm.
Boxing is you and these hands
Yep.
with them.
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
Yes, sir.
it's a sweet science to it, man, and I love it. I love it. I don't love where it's at right now, but I see a lot of glimpses of hope for the future of boxing. I really do.
Yeah. Just gotta get that activity up for a lot of these guys, man. Like, I mean,
I
Jake Paul's fighting. Jake Paul is fighting more than these guys. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. We should see Tank Davis at least. I mean, at the very least, twice a year. We need to see him 3 times a year. If one of those fights is kind of kind of a tune-up type fight. At least give me that too. Let's let him display some skills a little bit in a safe bout. But then he got two other major bouts, something like that. And I'm just using him as an example. But if you use him, Boots Ennis, you look at Terrence Crawford. Like how many times has he really fought of late? Errol Spence. How many times have we seen him fight over the last 2 to 3 years? The Charlo twins. When is Canelo? I mean, when is he gonna fight somebody? You know what I'm saying? That's a true threat. Benavidez,
Yeah,
he keeps running from him. Why
yeah,
they won't get
run.
it done? Yeah,
That's one
it's
that
crazy.
they offer Canelo so much money, bro, to fight legitimate boxers, and he will not do it. He's gonna try to ride the rest of his career out fighting as many bums as he can.
Yeah.
But I kind of gotta disagree with you on twice a year only because of the wear and tear that does to the bodies of the athletes. So we gotta always keep that in mind
So
when
you
we come.
want to fight once a year?
At least once a year, you should be fighting a fight once a year.
Ooh.
You know, I'm empathetic to that. It's a lot of that. It's a lot come with training. There's a lot come with taking those hits to the head.
Mm-hmm.
And you talking about fighting them twice a year? We're gonna go back to some short careers or some long careers, and then years of watching them with Parkinson's disease. So
Well,
pick your poison in that. But yeah, listen, I don't want 2 years to stretch and you ain't had no fight lined up or no. We should be seeing on average, we should be seeing four to six good fights a year. That means champions in every weight division need to be fighting for a
so
champion.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
now I can go with you on that if we gonna get a whole bunch of good fights. What I'm saying, all the champions matching up and and they doing that
Mhm.
consistently, then I can live with that. You know what I'm saying? But I also wouldn't mind even if there was a tune up though in there, like where you're not gonna get hit a lot. Like it's a total mismatch, but it's just more of a exhibition type, not exhibition, but just kind of a showcase. But I can live with that if that's what it's gonna be across the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it should. You got enough boxing promotions to do that. The fact that they're not doing that, it shows where boxing is at. Which boxing is still it's still some corruption in boxing. We got to be honest about that.
Yeah.
It's Vegas ties in boxing and the gambling. Anytime you bring gambling into the play, you bring in organized crime. That's always gonna be there. It always was there. It's always gonna be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only way to get that out of that is to basically buy him out the route the Saudis are going and
Hmm.
man, clean up the behind the scenes. Because once the behind the scenes gets cleared up, once we streamline these belts, no more than 3 belts, no more. I'm tired of seeing boxers, bum ass boxers, come in with 6 belts on their arms and then come in, knock the hell out in a mismatch fight. Tired of seeing that.
Yeah,
So
man.
if it if that comes about from Jake Paul creating his own promotion and really doing a profit share with the boxers, hey man, I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with you beating up on elderly black men. I'm not cool with that. I'm never gonna be cool with that. But I'm cool with the business side of
Yeah.
it. If
Was
that's
yeah.
what he doing, I don't know for sure that's what he doing. This is all speculation for me. But
Well, I'll tell you what. It's a gift, and he definitely has provided something here in the boxing world. If nothing else, like we said earlier, putting more eyes on the real boxers that are on that card. I watched that card. I was good with all the matches except the last one. It was stuff I can pick and take out parts out from the other fights. But obviously, the women's fight was the best one.
okay,
That was clear cut. That was just worth watching that one and being done with the for the night. But the other fights they were good too, just good enough to have some boxing going on. And but yeah, if you're gonna continue to bring in and have other matches underneath the card, now if he can spruce that card up and keep a strong card underneath his fight, then he can keep doing what he's doing. I won't have a problem with it.
that's a good point. You bring up a good point with that. Now, if he's putting up legitimate undercard fights that are good fights, I can 100% get behind what you just said.
Yeah, because
That's
on the last one, you can make your decision. Then you'd be like, hey, I can stick around for it, or I can just go ahead and do something else now.
yeah. I seen some pretty good matches. Now, you know what? I want to point something out too. Every guy that seen that fight that I talked to
Hmm.
applauds that the females that fought the
Yeah.
Taylor Serrano fight. That shows something. They say men don't support women's sports. That's a fact
Mm.
because I watch women's boxing. I am a fan of it. I have always watched it. And to say that we don't watch, we are the ones that watch your sports.
We do. WNBA too.
Right. It's it's the ladies that's not watching it. You got to support your own sports, lady. I'm sorry. Every man ain't gonna do it, but it's enough of us that do watch it and do support it, whether it be for commentary purposes or enjoyment or entertainment purposes. You got to support your own gender. Don't
That's
be waiting
right.
for us to give you the alley oop.
That's right. Like
Support.
Bob, what's her name? Baumburner. I can't always have difficulty pronouncing her name, but Baumburner. I've been watching her fights. I've been watching Clarissa Shields. Katie, the Taylor Serrano. Like been watching this. Matter of fact, you remember when Layla Ali was boxing? You
Oh man,
know, we was all into that too
for her
when
day,
Layla Ali was going.
she was a
Yeah,
beast.
yeah.
But back then,
Oh,
there was no legitimate women that could contend with Layla Ali. I
yeah.
think now the boxing caliber of the females on the female side is kind of caught up with her. So if she was to box now, not at
Gotta
her
be something else.
came out now, she would have a whole lot stiffer competition than she did when she came up
Yeah.
in the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, that would have been awesome to see, man. And speaking of that, Ali, Nico Ali, the grandson of Muhammad Ali, he also put his name into the hat, and he is at a comparable level with Jake Paul, right? He's at that stage where he's fighting all the lower tier boxers as he's down there too, but he's trying to work his way up into the scene. That would be a interesting fight too. Nico Ali. I know he comes on, he fights every couple months on TV, and that would be a comparable opponent for Jake Paul. That would be somebody that I would like to see him fight.
You know who I want to see him fight? And it'll be the biggest payday in boxing history if he fought.
Okay,
Think
history
I'm
of boxing.
Y'all gonna think I'm crazy when I say this. Let him fight Clarissa Shields.
Ooh,
And I said it
what?
with let him fight Clarissa Shields.
Really, man?
Yes, really.
A 230-something pound man?
I don't think he got it in it to beat her.
Boy,
I,
let's
I
send this to Jake
let
Paul.
the comments come. Give me all the hate. I said what I said. Clarissa Shields, if this makes it to you, tell me if I'm wrong. I guarantee you.
Ooh. You know
Skills,
what?
skills versus raw power. Man versus woman.
Yeah.
Battle of the sexes.
Ooh.
Oh, this I can see it. Y'all about
Oh,
to have my Don
it'll
King.
do some.
Oh,
You are Don King right now, because I mean, that will do numbers. That will do numbers just for the fact that the question would be, she's elite at boxing versus a male, right? Physically, the nature of that difference there. That would be interesting. And speaking of, oh, go ahead.
he's wanted to fight. I'm getting old, y'all. Y'all bear with me. She,
No, I think it was Thurman.
yeah,
I think she had some words with Thurman, Keith Thurman.
and she said she could beat Keith Thurman.
Yeah. Now Keith
I,
Thurman, what? He about what about 140? He
yeah,
about 140 pounds? Yeah. Now see, yeah, now I definitely like that too, because his, he's a little bit small, a lot smaller than Jake Paul. But yeah,
I
man,
think
that would be interesting to see too.
she gonna hit him with good time. Give her the same advantages that Jake Paul got in the Tyson fight. Give
Gotcha.
the stipulation to Jake Paul,
No uppercuts, no,
right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
let her
Hey
fight.
man. Hey, you on to something, man. And speaking of that, Clarissa actually has said that she's thrown the gauntlet out to the men. That a couple weeks, well, matter of fact, it was the night after that, the night of that fight, after the Tyson fight. She was saying how she loved Tyson. She loved to see him in the ring one more time. But then she was like, "But guys, how much longer y'all gonna let Jake Paul come in to your division, the men's boxing, and do what he's doing right now? Where y'all at? Why y'all not calling this guy out?" You know
There's a
what I'm
lot of
saying? She said that. And she said if a female did the same, a female version of Jake Paul did the same thing, she would she would immediately call that woman out.
let's be clear. Now, it's a lot of former boxers that want a piece of Jake Paul. I think David Tool said he wanted a piece of him too. It's a lot of
Oh
people
boy.
that really do want to fight him. It's a lot of former champions, a lot of recently retired champions that will fight him. But it's not on them. It's on Jake Paul. The ball's in
Hmm.
to who he wants to fight. So we can't get around that unless you can generate enough hype behind you campaigning for that ass whooping on him. You'll never see the ring. And then once you do, he's gonna weigh you down to so many stipulations. You're gonna have to weigh the option. Do you want the money or do you want the pride of saying I knocked this motherfucker out? I'm sorry for the
Yeah.
line. I knocked this guy out. Because if you knock him out, you're not gonna get paid.
Right.
Sorry to say it.
Hey
And
man.
take an L. He got a lot of people behind him. YouTube don't want him to take an L. Google don't want him to take an L. That's who's putting up the money for all of this. If everybody don't know it, Alphabet, which is Google, which is YouTube, which is
Mm.
that signed to. They got a real strong silent foothold into Jake Paul Inc. So if that power that be say, we don't want to see you actually get knocked out. We just want to keep collecting these easy checks. It's not gonna happen unless he fight Carissa Shields, because I think she'll crash out for she don't. It ain't about money with her.
Well,
Carissa
hey
Shields
man.
is if you run across this, please fight him. I think you could win 100%. I want to see
Oh,
that fight. I would pay for that fight any day of the week. I don't care if you charge $1,000 for the fight. I'm paying. I want to see you knock that boy out. So if you ever get the opportunity to entertain that, please, please, please take it. That's from my
Clarissa, if you out there, Clarissa, please, please, please listen to Hot Tub Tony right now. The fight of the century. That's what it'll be. The fight of the century.
I know it's gonna be some comments on that though. There's gonna
Yeah.
be comments
Hot
say
Tub Tony Productions.
the views of Hot Tub Tony do not represent Mr. 411 Sports World or Mr. 411 Sports World Network. They are solely the proprietary ownership of Hot Tub Tony, Hot Tub Tony Incorporated, the one and on the Hot Tub Tony LLC.
And well stated, man. We need to get that. We need to get that recorded. Uh, fair use, fair use. All right. Well, yeah, man, that's awesome, man. Anything else, man, you want to close out with before we roll?
I think we got it all covered this time, bro.
Hey, man, it's always good to talk to you, bro.
Always.
All right, hey, everybody, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, and share, because sharing is caring. For one Sports World Show, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson episode. We are done and we are out.
Peace.